Residents of Miami-Dade, getting your COVID-19 vaccination is an important part. Help everyone stay safe as we continue to fight the spread. And we can protect those most vulnerable around us. With easy access to vaccination locations and the growing ability for more people to be protected, it's our best shot to keep moving forward. It's our best shot for a strong, healthy community. For more information, visit miamidade.gov/vaccine.
Good morning. It's Tuesday and it's 11 a.m., which means it's time for the FIU Music Hour on WDNA 88.9 FM, where we present live weekly performances in the WDNA Jazz Gallery and feature students, faculty, and alumni from Florida International University's Herbert and Nicole Wertheim School of Music and Performing Arts. I'm your host today and FIU faculty, Dr. Russ Spiegel, and along with our producer, Dr. Karen Veloz, we'd like to welcome you to our show. Whether you're listening to us at home, in your car, or live on wdna.org/FIU, we are delighted to have you with us. Today, we are pleased to feature Baseless Accusations, featuring vocalist Justine Garcia, David Fernandez on the tenor saxophone, Lucas Apostolaris on drums, and bandleader and composer-arranger Tom Lippincott on 8-string guitar. Tom Lippincott was born in New Jersey and grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but has made South Florida his home since 1988. He has a bachelor's degree in jazz studies from the University of North Texas, as well as a master's in jazz performance from the University of Miami. Tom teaches jazz guitar at Florida International University and has played and recorded extensively with many of the area's musicians and bands, and throughout the world as both a sideman and leader. Among the many jazz luminaries Tom has performed and or recorded with are John Stoll, Jonathan Kreisberg, Ben Monder, Dave Liebman, Don Friedman, and Ed Schuller. And I believe the first tune they're going to play is actually two pieces called Overture and Spherical by Tom. All right, baseless accusations. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Russ.
So tell us a little bit about this band.
Well, it sort of happened organically, I guess you could say. We had played as a quartet with a bass player, and one of the venues that we played was basically only paying for 3 people. And so I wanted to have Dave play. I mean, I had thought about just doing guitar, bass, and drums, but I was like, why don't we do something without bass? And, there are some precedents for that, as I'm sure you know. One of my, favorite bands of all time is the Paul Motion Trio with Bill Frisell and Joe Lovano.
And actually, they actually lost their bass player for the same reason.
Yeah, I've heard that
which is very funny.
So, and then Lucas actually came up with the name. He just said, we should call it Baseless Accusations. And we all thought that was perfect. And I think Dave was upset that he wasn't the one that thought of it, because usually he's the one that thinks of those, those good names. But anyway, so that was kind of where it came from.
And playing in a bassless band, what makes it different? What do you have to do or be aware of that changes the approach?
Well, I see kind of 2 different approaches you can take. One is for me to try to fulfill the role of the bass player and the guitar player. And sometimes when I play in this kind of a setting, I will do that. Although most of the stuff we're doing today, I've kind of elected to go the other direction, which is just to think of leaving more space and not worry too much about the bass being absent, and just kind of play the way we would, maybe as if there was a bass player here. Which I think that the trio that I mentioned before, they tended to take that kind of approach. So that's mostly what we're doing.
Yeah, but there is one slight difference between your trio and the Paul Motion Trio or Modian Trio, and that is that you have a slightly different instrument than Bill Frisell. You have, for the people who cannot see or who are just listening on the radio, I should say, Tom is playing a slightly different instrument than the traditional guitar. Can you tell us a little bit about that instrument?
Sure. This is an 8-string guitar, and there's a couple of guitar heroes of mine that I've been fans of for years. A guy named Lenny Breau, who was a guitarist primarily in Canada, who was kind of famous for playing a 7-string guitar with an extra high string. And I first got the idea of having a 7-string guitar that would be sort of like the Lenny Breau tuning. And once I realized that you couldn't just buy a 7-string off the rack and tune it that way because of physics, basically, I realized I would have to have a custom guitar built. And I realized that kind of gave me a blank slate. And of course, there's this other guitar hero of mine named George Van Epps, who played a 7-string with a low string. So my idea was, why not just kind of combine the 2 things on one guitar? And so my idea was to kind of be able to play more like a piano player. So a lot of people will ask, oh, do you have two low bass strings so you can play bass? And that wasn't really my idea to begin with. It was, I just wanted to have a little more range on both ends and more flexibility for harmonies and melodies to just be able to be a little bit more free, I guess.
Yeah, and I love it. It sounds amazing. And you're also not playing with a pick. You play with your fingernails, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I had a problem with tendonitis back in my early 30s when I was still playing with the pick, and my solution was to just go a completely different direction. So that was, I just committed to that, and then I've stuck with it, even though it definitely has some disadvantages, because most jazz guitar players play with a pick, so I'm sort of, to a certain extent, an odd man out. And it's kind of hard to do some of the things that typical jazz guitar players do when they play with the pick. But I kind of justify it by saying that's kind of what gives me a different sound than the average jazz guitarist.
Oh, absolutely. Now, do you write also music specifically for this ensemble?
As a matter of fact, I did write one song that we're going to play later on specifically with these two guys in mind that we did. And a couple of the arrangements that I did also were specifically with our singer that's joining us in mind also. So the first piece that I did was originally a quartet piece with a bass player, but I realized that it worked fine without bass as well.
And the second one was a blues, so it is just keeping the form.
Exactly.
Right.
And that one just, I've played in a bunch of different configurations.
Right. How can people follow you and know more about you?
Probably the primary things would be my website, which is tomlippincott.com. And I'm also on Facebook, which is kind of a dinosaur at this point, I guess. And I'm also, as we were talking earlier, on Instagram, but I'm kind of lost on Instagram. I don't really know much about it. I always feel kind of lost when I go there, but I'm trying to stay current. So I do have an Instagram account.
Right, and Tom is also a very valuable and valued instructor both at Florida International University and other places, and also has Mike's master classes, is it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm just getting ready to release a new class. It's a 5-part class called Diatonic Triads Complete.
Wow, complete. Why don't you tell us about the next song you're going to play?
All right, so next we're going to invite our singer guest up with us. And this is a singer named Justine Garcia. And I've done a few gigs with her over the last few years and always really enjoyed playing with her. I think she's a great singer, but also really kind of feel like I can identify with her aesthetic, if that makes any sense. And we played a duo gig a couple of months ago, and I asked her if she knew Emily, and she said yes, and she said, can you do it in C? And I said, well, that's the key that I do it in. So I came up with this sort of an arrangement of the song for us to do as a quartet.
All right, Baseless Desires, Tom Lippincott.
ashes in the firelight as our eyes visualize a family. They say dream in the air.
You're listening to the FIU Music Hour on WDNA 88.9 FM with Baseless Accusations. We'll be right back after these messages. And now back to our show with Baseless Accusations. Baseless accusations. Tom, are you going to play one more song for us before we take our break? You've been listening to Baseless Accusations with Justine Garcia, David Fernandez, Lucas Apostolaris, and band leader Tom Lippincott on the FIU Music Hour on WDNA 88.9 FM. I've been your faculty host, and Dr. Russ Spiegel, and along with our producer, Dr. Karen Velaz. I'd like to thank also our FIU student intern, Josephine Mendez, WDNA sound and tech wizard, Alex Aldrich, and the staff of WDNA 88.9 FM for today's broadcast. If you'd like more information on all our programs, make sure to call 305-348-2896 or simply like our Facebook page or Instagram page to stay up to date with all our upcoming performances. Thank you so much for joining us, and make sure to join the FIU Music Hour for more great music every Tuesday, 11 a.m. to noon. Thanks again to our guests. Tom, what's the last song you're going to perform for us?
We're going to do Goldfinger by John Barry.
Wonderful.
Goldfinger, he's the man with the Midas touch, a spider's touch, such a gold finger beckons you to enter his web of sin, but don't go in. Golden words he will pour in your ear, but his lies won't disguise what you fear. For a golden girl knows when he's kissed her, it's the kiss of death for Mr. Goldfinger. Pretty girl, beware of his heart of gold. This heart is cold. Golden words he will pour in your ear, but his lies won't disguise what you fear. For a golden girl knows when he's kissed her, it's the kiss of death from Mr. Goldfinger. Pretty girl, beware of his heart of gold. This heart is cold. He loves only gold. Only gold. He loves gold. He loves only gold. Only gold. He loves only
Woo! That was fun.